I played piano for the last 15 years and teach beginner piano students how to get better, faster. In this video, I'm going to tell you 10 quick tips that will supercharge your piano learning, so you're going to want to stay until the very end because that last tip is going to change everything. I read all of these research documents that tell you why you should or shouldn't do certain things. Tip number 1, when you start a piece, you want to listen to it first. You're going to open up YouTube, you're going to type what new song you're learning, and you're going to listen to it first so that you just simply repeat it when you're playing it on the piano. So we're gonna know in the melody what note comes next, and we're also gonna know how long to hold those notes. Tip number 2 is always skim the piece first, and you're gonna separate it from most difficult to least difficult. What I recommend for my beginner piano students is for every time you practice that easy part of the song, you're gonna practice the harder part 2 times. You're gonna get a lot more practice on that harder part, which means you're gonna learn the whole song a lot faster. And it's important when you're practicing the song to not start from the beginning, but to start from that part that's actually difficult, because that's what's gonna make you learn the song way faster. Tip number 3 is you're gonna break the passage into smaller parts. You're gonna break it down into notes, into bars, into lines, and then the whole song. So the first thing we do is we're gonna separate it into a bar. And we're gonna do it really slowly with both hands separate. We're gonna do right hand, and then we're gonna do left hand. We're gonna bring both hands together once both hands are really comfortable on their own. So break down that difficult section, smaller and smaller parts, and that's really gonna help you out. Tip number 4 is practice with both hands separate. And I can't emphasize this enough, how important this actually is for my piano students. So you wanna make sure that you practice with your right hand first, and you get really comfortable with the right hand. And then with your left hand, you're gonna get really comfortable with that, and then you're gonna put both hands together. And I understand, I'm like you, I just wanna get right into the song and not wait around, but it's just so important to just focus on one hand. Okay, tip number 5 is breaking down a complex chord. A lot of the chords we tend to play with our left hand. So if we're playing a C major chord, so it's C, E, G, C, then we're actually gonna wanna break it down into C major chord, and then we have this other chord, E, G, C, right? Mixture of those 2 chords, so we're gonna practice it separate. So when we practice it together, our hands are gonna get way more comfortable playing that uncomfortable chord. If you're serious about learning piano and you actually want to progress faster, I seriously recommend getting a real teacher. And musicmes.com is that perfect solution for what you need. So on musicmes.com, lessons are flexible, convenient, and personalized, and all of it's from home. So the lessons are beginner friendly and designed to fit your lifestyle. So go to musicmes.com, book a lesson with a teacher, and actually learn piano faster. Tip number 6 is play accurately first and then play fast. So what I always tell my students is that you want to make sure that you play really slow and just get the notes right in the song. But learning the incorrect notes and building a habit out of that and breaking down that habit later to fix it to play the correct notes is just gonna make it so much harder. So just learn it right the first time, and then from there you can move on, get faster to the tempo that you need to for the actual song. Tip number 7, memorize while playing. So this is a huge unlock, because if you're actually memorizing while playing music, you're gonna be able to look at your hands while you're playing instead of reading the music sheets, squinting your eyes. So it's gonna make learning way faster by memorizing while you're actually playing the song. And you're gonna be saving so much time than if you had to memorize it after learning the whole song. And this leads us into tip number 8, which is always practice slowly at the end of a piano session. You're gonna be thinking about everything that you already learned. You're gonna be able to memorize a lot more of that information and retain it from this practice session to the next one. So that's over time gonna compound, and you're gonna be able to learn much faster. So always play slowly at the end of a practice session, regurgitate what you already learned. Another big tip is don't change your fingerings when you're playing the song. So if you're playing a chord, let's say it's with your 4th finger instead of your 3rd finger, you're always gonna wanna play that chord with that 4th finger. Let's say it's a C, E, and a long C chord. You're not gonna wanna switch because you're building muscle memory with this hand. And if you switch to your 3rd finger for that chord, it's gonna be so much harder to learn See, I even played it incorrectly right there. It's gonna be so much harder to learn what that chord is actually supposed to feel like. And feeling is a big part of learning how to play piano. Okay, so this is the big tip that I promised, and one that you probably haven't heard of, but the biggest unlock is actually not speeding up gradually after you learn how to play the song. You're gonna wanna get to tempo right away. Don't wanna do is we don't wanna go 20% faster, 40% faster, 60% faster, 80% faster. But we don't wanna do that. It's gonna make us relearn the whole song 5 times at different tempos. So we learned it at a slow tempo, at a medium tempo, at a fast tempo, when we could have just cut all of that and just learned it at a fast tempo. That's a huge unlock and one that took me way too many years to learn. So those are the 10 tips. I hope you learned something from this video. Make sure to subscribe down below. Click on another video to learn more.